What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, thanks for coming back. So today we're gonna try and fix one of the things that I hated the most about the Centurion OBS that I bought about a month ago, and that's gonna be this center console. I absolutely hate it, and I think that it's hideous, as well as it doesn't really do much. In the last video that we did, we cleaned out the interior on that thing, we completely detailed it, and we took this thing out because it wasn't even actually mounted to the floor, it was just loose on there. So we got rid of it, and we bought this thing, which it's gonna be temporary. We bought it actually for the single cab, but I still haven't gotten the other two seats that I want to use on that thing. So for now, we're gonna try and mount this in the crew cab. And the first thing we gotta do is take some measurements to make sure that it will actually fit in there. So we're looking at about 14 inches, and hopefully it'll work in there, because if not, this is gonna be a very short video. It's gonna be a tight fit, but it's gonna work. We've got about 13.5 inches, 13 3/4, which is right about what that thing measures. So it's gonna be snug in there, but it should work. So the first thing that I'm gonna have to do is remove these two armrests, because it will definitely not fit with these things on. Even if they're flipped up, the lid won't be able to open. And I gotta point out, this interior smells freaking amazing now. Like it smells clean, which is what I was aiming for with that detail. And like I said, this isn't gonna be the permanent setup for this truck. I just want to have something here, and I want to get rid of these things, as well as I want to have some good cup holders, because I feel that Ford hasn't figured out cup holders on their jump seats. One, I think they look not nearly as good as this one. They're not as functional, and like I said, their cup holders just suck. And I don't think they come in black or dark gray like these ones do. All I've ever seen with those things is that actual like lighter gray. These things are actually pretty trick. One, they look really good. They have this leather vinyl with really nice stitching. Like, this looks really, really nice. It has this little compartment right here for your phone. It has huge storage in here with two USBs, an aux, and a 12 volt, as well as a 12 volt in the back. I don't know if I'm gonna wire this in to this truck, because the only thing that I could make work that'd be useful would be the 12 volt or the USB to charge like my phone. So like I said, I don't know if I want to bother with that right now, especially because it's not going to be the permanent setup in that truck. But anyways, so you've got all that. You've got these little storage spaces right here, which you can also put your phone in there. You've got 3 cup holders, which I'm pretty sure these ones are actually really nice. I think they'll work. But anyways, you have the actual seat part of it, which I'll be the first to admit, it's not comfortable at all. But sitting in this thing is going to be basically like the last resort. We want it more for the looks and for the functionality. And then you have another storage space down here. And I actually got this thing brand new. It's a new takeoff from a truck that they converted into like a police truck or stuff like that. If anyone's interested in this, I know a guy in Phoenix that sells a whole bunch of these. And like I said, they're pretty cheap. I think I paid about $270 for this one. So not bad. And it comes with like all the wiring, like it has the pigtails and everything. I don't know how well you can make those work. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna bother with that in this truck, just because it still has the factory radio. I might eventually try and figure out how to get, like I said, 12 volts to it so I can charge my phone while I'm in there. But like I said, that'll be just for a future date. For now, I just want to make sure that I can actually install it in the truck. Okay, so like I said, I think the first thing we got to do is figure out how to take off these armrests. That's going to be kind of fun. It's got a zipper right here, so let's undo that. So that's the inside of it. It's got a tube right there, so it's got to have something welded to it. Let me see. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Okay, guys, excuse my heavy breathing. I am super out of shape. But anyways, we got both armrests off. The passenger side, we got it off by force, basically. The way that I did it is that I basically ripped this pin off of the armrest. After I did that, I discovered that this was a pin, and then I had that pin in there. So I started messing with it, and I realized that I think it's in there like that, with the pin facing forward, I think. So I realized that if you pushed it, you could actually spin it all the way back, and it would come out. So then I came back to the driver's side seat. I pushed in the armrest as much as I could, spun it all the way around, and then pulled it out, and it was that easy. Like I said, I freaking ripped this thing off of that tube on the other side, and all I had to do was just push it in and spin it all the way around. So at least now we have those two things off. Okay, guys, and this is basically what the jump seat is gonna look in here. As far as matching, obviously it doesn't match anything. This thing's black, dark gray, and everything else is tan, but it's okay. The good thing is that it's gonna fit, and it's freaking comfortable. Like, it is at the perfect height, at the perfect spot where I got it right now. I'm excited for this thing. Like I said, I'm really happy. I'm really glad that I'm gonna have actual cup holders in this thing. So now all I gotta do is figure out how I'm gonna mount it. So I'm thinking that in the back, I can actually make a little bracket that'll go from the from this point to the seat belt, because they are lined up pretty much perfectly. So all I have to do is make a little kind of like angled bracket like this that catches those two. In the front, that's going to be a little bit different because there's nothing really here that I can hold on to. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to make 2 more holes for that. The other thing that I could do, and I'm not quite sure on that because it'll be a little bit more complicated, but I can make a bracket that catches this and then it goes to this. But like I said, I think that'll be a little bit more complicated than I want to do, so I might just make another little L bracket, go from here and just drill through the floor of this thing. I also did go ahead and throw the other seat in just to make sure that everything's gonna work properly like I want it to, and I think it's gonna be a big win. Everything's nice and tight like it should, but not like overly tight, so I think it fits like a glove in here. So like I said, I'm gonna take off this seat and make the brackets for this thing so I can mount it permanently. So we have the bracket for the front legs done, and like I've said earlier, I've got it riv nutted to the floor, and it's pretty solid. So now what I have to do is figure out where this other one's gonna land on that side. So I think what I'm gonna do is take this one back off, mount it to the actual drum seat where it goes, and then measure the distance, then come back down, measure from here all the way to there, and see where it needs to be. So hopefully it will not line up. Okay, so we've got 8.5 from hole to hole. So now what I'm gonna do is go under the truck, mark 8.5 inches from this center out that way, drill a new hole, and hopefully that works. Okay guys, so we got the front mounted up and it lined up pretty good. Can't really see the brackets on there, but they're there. I am gonna flip these things the other way around. That was just temporary. And we've got the rear bracket done. And I got kind of smart about this one. I actually also installed a riv nut on the actual bracket. Okay, so I actually ended up redoing the brackets, mainly the front one. Instead of doing 2 separate ones, I decided to make just one solid piece that's connected all the way through, and then making these holes slotted so it has a little bit of adjustment. And we did some rib nuts on these things. I'm starting to love rib nuts. I really like them. This is gonna have them too. They're so convenient, and they're easy to use. I'm gonna leave this down below if you guys want to check them out. Again, it really helps with all of these projects. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead, throw these in the truck and get the jump seat installed so that we can finish this video. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so this is definitely not the way that I like ending videos, having to use the light, but we just lost all of the light and it is what it is. This was just one of those weeks where I couldn't work on this thing for more than like an hour because I had to go and do one thing or another thing. And actually you guys killed it this week with orders, so I was working on that a lot too this week, so it just took away from me being able to actually work on this. And like I said, at the end, the bracket didn't come out exactly like I wanted it, just because I was kind of rushing to get this done. And whenever you rush to do something, it never turns out as good as when you actually take the time to do it right. But nonetheless, I love the way that it turned out. It is so freaking comfortable. Like, I feel like it's at the perfect height, at least for me. Everything feels really good. I could have actually had it about an inch or two further forward, which is something that I might actually fix later on. But for now, like, I'm actually really happy with the way that it is, the way that it feels. It functions perfectly fine, like it should. I really can't wait to actually drive this thing and be able to use this, and also try out the cup holders, because like I said, I think they're going to be way better than anything that's in any OBS, that's for sure. That came factory from the factory. But yeah, super happy with this. But before I end the video, I actually want to ask you guys a quick question. Because I can't really make up my mind on what I want to do with this truck. I know what axles I want to use, but I don't know what engine I want to use in this thing. And I'm between 2 engines right now, basically, because I want to do a DT360, but at least where I'm at, those things are nearly impossible to find. I've been looking for one for years, and I've literally never seen one for sale. Maybe if I hit up some of the some junkyards or something, I might be able to find one. But like I said, in at least 2 or 3 years that I've been looking for one, I've never seen one for sale. So I think that's going to be out of the picture. That leaves me with 2 options: a common rail Cummins, a 6.7 ideally, or, and just bear with me, a 6.0 POWERSTROKE. I know that a lot of people don't like the 6.0, but I actually think that it's a great engine. I've personally never owned one. The 7.3 has been the only diesel that I've ever owned, but I've had a lot of friends with the 6.0 and they really like it. Some have had problems with it, but I've also had a lot of friends that had a lot of good luck with them. And it's an engine that if you put the money in the right places, it's going to be a great engine. It's a badass sounding engine, and I just think that it's a great performing engine, especially with the 5R100 behind it. It is 100 or 5R110. With the automatic that it comes with, I think it's a great combo, and I think I would use that transmission regardless of what engine I end up using, because I think if one thing Ford knows how to do is a transmission. I know that a lot of you guys like Allison, and it's a good transmission, but I honestly think that a Ford torque shift transmission is better than an Allison. Also, let me know down below what you think about that. I honestly do think that Ford makes a really good transmission. And the reason why I'm thinking about using a 6.0 is because I think it would make a lot of sense for me, because I could buy a donor truck that is gonna have the axles that I wanna use. It'll have the transmission that I wanna use and the engine that I wanna use, and all the wiring to make it work will be right there for me. So that's kind of why I'm thinking about doing that, just for simplicity, for budget, and just for ease of doing it, and especially for budget, because like I said, I can get a donor truck for $5 grand, and that's gonna have, like I said, axles, transmission, engine, wiring, everything right there. So that's very, very enticing. If I do a common rail Cummins, so like a 6.7, I'm gonna spend probably 4 or 5 grand just on the engine, and that much again because I will probably end up having to buy a donor again to buy the axles and the transmission and transfer case and all that stuff. So if I do a Cummins, it's basically gonna double my budget, which I really don't want to do. But on the flip side of that, I really, really want a Cummins. I really like those engines, and I want to really get into that and, you know, have one. I think it would be an awesome engine for this truck, especially if I want to make it a tow rig. So again, that's just what I'm thinking. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. And hopefully you like the install. Again, if you did, leave a like. If you have any questions at all about it, leave them down below. The brackets, I know that I get this a lot. They're not going to be on the website because, like I said, I'm not happy with the way they turned out. Other than that, leave any comments down below. Again, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.